Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. We are going to talk Married at First Sight Season 16, Episode 13. I'm not acting crazy with you tonight. So, if you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, you have been coming here every single week, typing in Tammy Talks every Thursday morning, every Wednesday night. Don't hit that subscribe button, all right? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. As usual, one big master recap because this season, it's not given to where I kind of want to break it down. I hate the childhood episode recap. I'm sorry, the childhood episode on this show because I feel like a lot of it is them trauma bonding. I feel like a lot of it is them like searching for something to talk about. I hate this episode. People end up judging people for, I don't like it, all right? But let's start off with Kirsten and Shaq. So, Kirsten is showing Shaq one of the houses that she is currently showing and listing. So, she said that Shaq has always wanted to see what she does, how she is in her element. So, she's going to show him this gorgeous house. Kirsten always has a dead look in her eyes. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I should judge it. I don't know if I should be concerned. But Kirsten always just looks like she is looking through the camera. She always looks like she is looking through the interviewer, through the camera. Like, have y'all noticed that? It's just a dead, blank expression over her face. It almost always looks like she's reading from a teleprompter. Me and Shaquille are gonna have, we're gonna look at a house today so we can find out if it is right for our future. That's what she be doing, and it's like, do you want to do it or not? I always want to tell her, girl, blink if you need help. So they're looking at this house, and it's a very gorgeous house, beautiful house. And they're talking about how they're gonna have their kids running through the house, and they're gonna have big movie nights where all the kids' friends can come over, and they're gonna have game night and all this stuff that they're gonna do. So, Shaq said that he has been, thinking about buying a house, but he just wants to be very ready. So he's ready, but he wants to be ready to buy a house. So they're sitting down and she's saying how, well, we can start to look for a house once your lease is up. And he was like, that's in 3 months. She was like, right, but I mean, I don't want to live in an apartment. I don't know why. You live in a furnished less apartment now? What do you need a whole house for? To not put stuff in there too? Girl, bye. So she then goes on to say that well, he said that he wants to wait until he is more financially stable. He said he has tuition to finish paying for, like his degree. He has those loans. He has this. We just got married. Like he said, I got things. I want to be ready. Buying a house is not something you should do arbitrarily, right? Because you don't want to end up homeless. You don't want to end up homeless. So if he wants to wait until he is financially ready to buy a house, he wants to wait until he is financially ready to buy a house. She then goes on to say, well, if we're going to continue this marriage, the two of us, then you are going to have to buy me a house. He said, me, yes, you. You are going to have to buy a house. So she said that she wants to be able to say that her husband bought a house. So he was like, you don't want to have no input, no say so. You don't want to help out at all. She said, well, my name will be on the deed. Girl, bye. Bye, Kirsten. Bye, Kirsten. So she said that in other people's marriages, the husband buys them houses and cars and that type of stuff. And then he was like, and how do you know? Have you been married before? She said, no, but I know people. She said, this is just who I am. I'm going to tell y'all this. For the person that does not like that I mentioned I came from a 2-parent household, I can't help that. Okay? I cannot help that I was raised in a 2-parent household. I cannot help that. And I'm going to talk about it again right now. My parents, we had a house that my parents both paid for, that my parents both owned. We had cars, 2 cars, that my parents each had a car that they both pay for. My parents now, as they are both retired, they each have a car that they are both paying for. Like, I don't understand this. It's different if your husband is a football player or a millionaire or something like that, and you are a housewife. Then yes, your husband is going to buy you the house. But why do you want to live somewhere that you didn't pay for and hope that your name is on the deed? Kirsten is playing in Shaq'S face. So you know what I think this is? I think this is Kirsten's way of getting him so riled up and getting him so pissed off that she can say, well, he didn't want to provide. He doesn't want to provide, or so that he can say that, she had unrealistic expectations and now he wants to be done with her. Kirsten gonna play in somebody else's face, anybody else's, but stop it, girl. Stop. 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 So then we get Jasmine. She has a friend come over and we get her woe is me speech once again. She's saying that how she has not been vulnerable lately, vulnerable in the past because she does not want to start an argument. So she's not confrontational. She doesn't say how she feels. She said that for her, if you are cute, that is enough attraction for her to work on. So she said that her attraction to Aries is slowly starting to fade because she's not getting what she wants out of it and they both need work. Unpopular opinion, right now, Jasmine, you're the issue. Right now, you're the issue. Both people can get it over here on Tammy Talks. You're the issue, Jasmine. We're gonna talk about it later, but it's not just Aries. It's you. It's you at this point. It's you at this point. And if you're not gonna try, stop having these conversations with everybody else, telling them that you want deeper conversations, you want to be more vulnerable when you're refusing to do that as well. So we get Nicole and Chris. So they, for the childhood episode, typically you take your spouse to your childhood home or something of that case, because these are a lot of transplant people now living in Nashville. They're going to places that remind them of home. So they go to a deli because this is the closest thing to Nicole's home. So she said that from the moment she was born, she has needed a lot of attention from both her parents. She said that she kind of wishes her parents were more strict. They kind of let her kind of do whatever. So she said because of that, she was lying a lot. She was cutting school. Her grades were slipping. She said that she would go to confessional and would start off with, I've been lying. I've been lying. So she said that she was a person that succumbed to peer pressure a lot, to where it would be things that she didn't even want to do, but she would because she wanted to fit in with the girls, like she wanted to be their friends. So if they said, hey, Nicole, let's forget this test we have, let's skip school and go hang out in someone's basement, she would say okay, even though she really didn't want to do it. So Chris goes in the confessional and said, you know what, I couldn't marry the woman that she was, because that reminds me of my exes. You mean when she was a teenager? No, you couldn't marry her 14-year-old self, because that's what she's talking about, Chris. Chris does not like Nicole. Chris don't like Nicole, y'all. Chris does not like Nicole. And it's unfortunate because Nicole is putting her all into this marriage. We can see it. Nicole is head over heels for Chris. She likes Chris. She's enthused by the idea of Chris. She's excited when she sees Chris. She's damn near in love with Chris. If they said it already, right? Yeah. She is in love with Chris. She loves Chris. Chris don't feel the same way about her, because every time Nicole shares something about her past or an experience she's been through, you can see Chris judging her. Without saying it, it's written all over his face. It's all in his eyes. Chris is judging her. So he said he couldn't marry the woman Nicole was, because that's how his exes were. I've told you, Chris, you were the toxic ex. I'm just waiting on the receipts to pop up. So she said that she wants him to know everything so he doesn't hear something 6, 7, 8 months down the line and then realize that this is not the type of woman he wanted to be married to. Nicole, cut yourself some grace. You skipping school? Hell, we all skip school. Everybody skipped school. I lived like a couple blocks from my high school. A couple blocks from my high school. My senior year, we skipped. Where? To my basement. Cut yourself some slack. If a man does not want to date me because I skipped school my senior year when I was 16 years old, boy, bye. If Chris does not want to continue this marriage with you after decision day because you were a teenager and you fell victim to peer pressure before, he's not the right man for you. You don't hold somebody to their sins as a teenager. It's not like she was out here stealing. She wasn't robbing nobody. She cut school. She succumbed to peer pressure a couple of times. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, but Chris is judging her. Clint takes Gina to a soccer field. He said that he was a 9-year-old kid. He was short. He had big feet. And he was trying to learn soccer. And he resented and hated the kids that were like just naturally athletic because he struggled. And he gave it all he could. And he struggled just to get to where they are, where they were out there, it just came easy for them. But he said that through his awkwardness and his clumsiness, why can't I talk? Clumsiness? That's a word, right? His clumsiness as a child, he learned a lot from playing soccer. Okay. I told y'all, these, like, when they go back to meet whatever, these episodes just aren't good. They're just not good. Because nobody ever has positive memories. No one is ever like, this is where we, hung out and we sat around the kitchen table and we played spades and Monopoly for hours. And like, my childhood was amazing here. Everybody is always like, I brought you here because this is where I was bullied. Okay? I was bullied here. And this is where I learned how to be the strong, proud Black woman. And it's like, come on, y'all. Y'all don't have no happy memories? Take me somewhere happy. Don't take me somewhere that's going to bring up trauma. I don't want to trauma bond with nobody. I don't want to trauma bond with anybody. So Eris and Jasmine, they go to a card shop. So he collected cards, look like basketball cards, probably football cards, baseball cards. I think they used to have like Pokemon cards and stuff like that. So he used to collect that type of stuff, which I feel like all boys did. I think my brother in like the basements of my parents' house still has his like book of like cards that he used to collect. So Eris says in his confessional, he feels Jasmine is having a hard time opening up to him, and he wants to show her that he is willing to be open with her. Thanks for joining the party, Eris. Congratulations. We are now 20 days out of decision day, but nice of you to show up for the wedding. Nice of you to show up for the marriage. So he's telling her that he collected cards as a child, and he said that he started collecting them as kind of a way to make friends. So we find out Eris is an only child, or maybe we knew already, but Eris is an only child that moved around a lot. So when he moved to Nashville, he didn't have a lot of friends. So through his love of collecting cards and this hobby, he made a lot of the friends that he still has today. So he then goes on to say that his therapist is pointing out to him how probably because of the way that he moved around a lot as a child, that he is always up and ready to leave now. Whether it's, him deciding he doesn't want to live in this particular city and state anymore and moving, or him moving on from a relationship. So Eris is being vulnerable right now. Eris is telling some truth right now. Jasmine's response is, I don't got nothing to say to that. Really, Jasmine? Really? And here's the thing with Jasmine. Jasmine has said these first couple episodes, and we were all on your side. We were all on your side that you wanted to have deep conversations. You wanted to get, as Clint would say, to the crust of Eris. You want to have deep conversations where y'all are being vulnerable. When we think back over these first 12 episodes, not including tonight, these first 12 episodes, we have not seen Jasmine be deep and vulnerable. We haven't seen Jasmine sit down and really start talking about something and trying to get deep with Eris and him not reciprocate. We have seen Eris have inappropriate conversations about sex and, never have I ever and that type of stuff. but we have not seen Jasmine try to have any type of deep conversation. To be honest, we have seen Jasmine complain about the lack of deep conversation, but we have not seen her initiate it. If they were happening, production would show it. Because production has no problem showing how awful Eris is in certain situations. So if there was a conversation, unless I'm missing it, and I'm sure y'all will put it down below if I am, but unless I'm missing it, I cannot think of a time or an episode where Jasmine has tried to have a very deep conversation and Eris has given her nothing in return. But on the flip, he's trying to have these deep conversations with you. He's trying to be vulnerable. He's trying to give you more, and you're not giving anything. So either you don't, like I said last week, either you're going to at least try or just ask for the divorce now. We see next week she says she's at her breaking point, but it's you've been at your breaking point. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but I feel like it's real though. We have not seen Jasmine try to have super, super deep conversations. Jasmine is stuck on the fact that he is not physically and sexually attracted to her. And if you can't get past that, Jasmine, call it now. Call it now. So, Jasmine then says in her confessional that she does not want to open up to him because of his tendency to run. Here's the thing, Jasmine. If you're going to have that mindset, then why even still be there? You know what I mean? Why even still be there? And I know y'all are going to come in the comments and say, well, I agree with her. I'm on her side. That's fine. But when you really think about it, you can't expect something from somebody that you're not doing yourself. And Jasmine is not being deep and vulnerable. No matter, no matter how she wants to act like she is, she's not though. So we get Kirsten and Shaq. So we are at Kirsten's childhood home, where she said their life was great for them, as great as any, 8-year-old's life can be. Her parents were married when they lived in that house. It was a 2-bedroom house. She said her parents had the front room. Behind there, her brother and her sister, along with her, 3 kids, shared a room. Now, it's important to point out that they had 3 kids in a room because Jasmine wants Shaq'S to provide for her the way that her father did. But at the end of the day, yes, y'all had a house, but y'all also had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, in a room. So your dad doing everything he can to hurry up and buy a house all on his own might not have been the best idea. It might not have been the best idea. Just a thought. So she said that they had a lot of good memories in that house, but there was also some sadness because it does remind her of her parents splitting. So she said that her parents splitting made her into the woman that she is now. Yes, very closed off, guarded, and afraid to show any type of emotion. Gotcha. So then Kirsten said that her dad provided for the family, and that's what she wants in a husband. So she's now hinting again, my daddy bought this house for my mama and me and my brother and sister, so you need to buy me a house like my dad did. So Shaq then said that he will provide when he does, just let him do this, let him handle this. Kirsten then said, well, my dad didn't need to be told. Shaq didn't need to be told either. No part of me believes that Shaq'S was going to never buy a house, that Shaq'S was never going to provide for you, that Shaq'S was never going to attempt to provide for you. You are trying to force this man to buy you a house in 3 months. You don't even like him. So Kirsten then said, my dad didn't need to be told. So she then goes on to say in her confessional that she is hesitant to introduce him to her dad because she doesn't think that Shaq'S is ready. Let's call a spade a spade. You don't think that your dad is going to think that Shaquille is man enough, and that's why you don't want to introduce him. Or two, you don't take this serious at all. So why introduce this man to my family when I know I'm gonna say no in 2 weeks on decision day? So Kirsten is just trying to push him away. It's annoying. It's petty to try to belittle him over something that you know is not going to even happen or that you don't even really want. Because what if Shaq were to say, okay, yeah, let's go buy a house. Let's go get a house right now. Are you going to move in with this man and stay married? No, you're not. You're not. So stop the cap. Ain't that what the kids say? Cap? Stop the cap. So Clint and Gina. Of course, Gina goes back to hair school. Been there, done that. Got a t-shirt. Don't care anymore. Next scene. Nicole and Chris. So Nicole reads this letter to her younger self to Chris. Again, a bunch of stuff that we have already heard from Nicole. A bunch of stuff rehashing it. Next scene. Again, Chris does not like her. We are seeing it more and more and more and more and more. Chris don't like her. Eris and Jasmine, they read their childhood letters. Eris' letter basically is once again about not having a father, about moving around place to place. He tells his younger self that it's okay to talk about your feelings and be who you are. That sounds very contrived, and it does not, well, it sounds contrived. It sounds very scripted. It sounds like you're saying that because you feel like that is the right thing to say right now. On the flip, Jasmine said, well, I don't want to get too emotional, get too deep with mine. That's the purpose of the exercise, Jasmine. That's the purpose of the exercise, sis. So Jasmine said to her 9-year-old self to reassure her that, even though you're going through this hard period where you moved and people are bullying you and that type of stuff, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Again, rehashing things that we have heard Jasmine say over and over and over. Aaron said in his confessional, he is at a place where he is ready to finally be open. I think it's too late. Once again, welcome to the marriage. Welcome to the marriage. Shaq and Kirsten. So they meet Shaq's godmother and godsister because Shaq wants to show Kirsten that he is a family man. Let me introduce you to some family. They say that Shaq is the youngest, but he likes to take the lead and coordinate things. So it kind of sounds like Shaq told them, look, y'all, she's trying to force me to take more control. Come in and talk about how I take control about things. Because how convenient was this particular story? Shaq is the youngest, but he likes to coordinate. Yeah, because when it's Thanksgiving, I say, okay, Charlie, you on greens, okay? Chelsea, you gonna do the cornbread? Like, what is this conversation? What is this conversation, y'all? So then we hear Shaquille talk about his accident and how him and his brother were like thrown and entangled in barbed wire. One of his sisters was like in a ditch. Another sister was like face down on the pavement. His mother lost control of the car. Once they were in the hospital for 2 weeks and they were all separated, which is crazy. But they were all separated and it took them 2 weeks with them not hearing anything about anybody. He's asking how's his mom. They're not giving any update. That is wild to me. So this baby, 8 or 9 years old, this baby was just in a car accident, in the car with his mom. Something happened that mom loses control over the car. He probably wakes up in fucking barbed wire. Then he gets transported to the hospital and he's asking you, where's my mom? Where's everybody? And y'all can't tell him? So he said that was 2 weeks. And then after those 2 weeks, they brought everybody together and it was probably like fucking Christmas on steroids. I cannot believe they did that. That is crazy. So then Kirsten asks, with him being so busy, Kirsten, aren't you busy? Aren't you constantly like showing houses or studying houses or doing something like that? Why do you have so much time? So she's asking, with as busy as he is, how does he manage this? His people tell her basically, if you take care of him, he's going to take care of you. Just be present. Kirsten was looking like, I don't know how to be present. He don't want to buy me no house so I can't be present. Back with Gina and Clint, her stylists are back over the house. We all eat lasagna. Nope, next scene. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Gina, you have to have a friend that does not work for you. You have to have a friend that does not work for you. No, we're not talking to nobody else from the salon, sis. Don't want to hear nothing else about hair. I would prefer that you just be bald the rest of the season. Wear a bald cap. I don't even want you thinking about hair the remainder of the season. Nicole and Chris. Chris takes Nicole to damn Dutch Boys so they can look at paint. I said, Lord have mercy. We're sitting in the paint shop. Reminds him of his dad. His dad owned the paint shop. He worked there. He only saw his dad every other weekend. His parents were divorced. And he did not feel that his dad was a role model or a positive male figure in his life. So he said he did not like working for his dad because his dad was a perfectionist. Anytime he did anything wrong, his dad would kind of let them know his displeasure. Everything had to be done a certain way, perfect. I'm sorry, but I kind of low-key get tired of people complaining about how they messed up and people at a job and people were like disappointed. If you're not doing something right, i.e. paint, yes, I'm not going to be happy with the outcome. Because just think about this. When you go to get a color, they're mixing it. We're not going to keep wasting paint because you're mixing the shit wrong. Chris is whiny. I feel like Chris is a person that is blaming everybody else for everything. You are the toxic person, Chris. You are. I'm really beginning to believe it's you. So he then said that he learned how to be a husband from other people, not necessarily from his dad. Him and his dad had kind of a strained relationship, but his dad, he needed his dad to watch Coda, which was his dog, and his dad kind of learned how to love again by watching his dog, and they are now in a good place. Kudos. So we have a Black Power date night with Shaq, Eris, Jasmine, and Kirsten. So they go to like one of those Nerf's off places, which looked fun. Nerf's off looks fun. It's like paintball without the pain. Because paintball hurts like hell. So they're going out and it's guys and it's girls. It's a cute little scene. Afterwards, Shaq and Jasmine talk because he wants to get a female perspective. And here's where the clickbait is. It's crazy how Married at First Sight keeps saying this is the most explosive season yet, and nothing has been explosive. Y'all keep doing this very clickbait editing job because y'all made it seem as if Shaq and Kirsten, Shaq and Jasmine are like getting together, like he trying to rap to her when he makes it very clear. I'm not trying to talk to you. I got a wife, but whatever. So Jasmine is saying that how she wants to make sure to stay true to her own feelings of how, and regardless of how Eris is feeling. So basically, she don't want to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, okay? So Shaq told her, stay true to yourself. You're beautiful inside and out. Just continue to walk in your truth. As far as with Shaq and Kirsten, he tells her it's going day by day. He feels like she is expecting a lot. He was like, she wants me to buy her this $2.9 million house. I said, Kirsten, $2.9 million and you want him to buy it when he works at the school as like a director? Come. That's me being irritated. Irritated, come on now. So he then said that he feels like she is holding him to this expectation of her father. So Jasmine is like, okay, so did you talk to her dad to get like some like perspective about it? He's like, no, I haven't met her dad yet. So Jasmine is like, does it bother you? Shaq was like, not really. She was like, does it bother you? And he was like, it bothers me. Tell her it bothers you. Tell Kirsten it bothers you. She won't care, but tell Kirsten it bothers you. Don't hold it in. Eris and Kirsten talk on the flip. And Kirsten said that the attraction is growing for her. She said, but it's their communication. She said that they'll be going back and forth about something, but they are both saying the same thing, just in different ways. And she has to remind Shaquille of that. Or does he have to remind you? Chris and Nicole, they're doing arts and crafts, talking in a French accent. Next scene. Jasmine and Aries. So they're laying in bed. He starts talking about how he has this letter that his dad wrote to his mother. And I'm going to tell you, I promise I'm not trying to be inconsiderate. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm not trying to be none of that. But I don't want to hear about Aries' father no more. I don't. There has to be more to your personality. There has to be more to your level of vulnerability. There has to be more to your emotional intelligence that does not always default to my dad. Aries reads a letter that his dad wrote to his mother. Where was his dad at? Like, did anybody catch that? It's a typed letter. It was a business card stapled to it. Was he incarcerated? Like, where was his dad at? But it was like something along the line, very generic, but it was along the lines of, Aries is a good boy. I can't wait to get home to see y'all. And like, it was just kind of, Aries needs to go to therapy for the very clear separation anxiety or whatever he's dealing with from the loss of his father that was over 20 years ago. Aries needs to, because I feel like the stuff that Aries is doing, I don't know if that's healthy to read a letter that your dad wrote your mom back in 89. I don't know if it's healthy, all the stuff that he does in regards to his father. So then the final scene is Kirsten and Shaq. So Kirsten, they're sitting down eating. She is smashing whatever that was. And they're once again talking about this house and this car. So Shaq is clearly irritated, and she said, "Well, you can replace my Mercedes with a Lambo." He said, "Or I can replace it with a Honda or a Toyota or a Subaru." She was like, "I'm joking about the car. I'm joking." He was like, "But you're not joking about the house." And she says, "No, because I know people whose husbands have bought them a car or a house." She then goes on to say she don't want to talk about it. Shaq then gets irritated because she's eating and was like, "Can you chew your food up before you speak?" She was like, "I'm covering my mouth. I'm covering my mouth." He was like, "But I can hear it." I said, "Oh, y'all are just petty boots all up and through." So he said that he wants to talk about it. She then said, "Look, I was just joking and playing about you buying me a house." She said, "When the time is right for us in our relationship, we will see what we're approved for and we will buy a house from there." Shaq then was like, "But you weren't joking then when you said it. You weren't joking." She was like, "I was joking. I was just playing around." He then tells her, you may be doing it now, but then you weren't joking." She was like, "You're overreacting. Don't make a big deal about this." She tells him, "You acting crazy. I'm not gonna get crazy with you tonight." I am sick of both of their asses. On one hand, Kirsten, like Shaq said, you told him that he was joking around and playing too much. Do I think Kirsten was joking about him buying her a house? I don't. I don't. I think she dead ass meant that. But I also think that Kirsten probably thought about it or talked to some people and they was like, "You doing too much. Buy our house together. Maybe he'll buy you the next house." I feel like she had like a revelation and, just changed her mind about it. But Shaq, you're doing too much. If you're not going to buy the half a house, you're not going to buy her a house. It's very simple. Tell her, "No, we can buy this house together." If she don't want to do that, I don't know, maybe y'all can do 60-40, 70-30, whatever the case. But like, for you to be mad about this and knowing damn well y'all ain't gonna say yes on decision day, what is the point? What's the point of y'all getting so mad about this? Shaq is sassy. Shaq is very sassy, okay? And I've really been trying not to go there, but Shaq is a little too sassy for me. Let me know what you guys thought about everything that happened in this episode. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hop in the comment section. So like Monique said, y'all can fight for your lives. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.